Are you going to take notes again, Olivia?
I can.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Again, nice. Cool. Yeah, so let's get this started. This is a review session for Quant 6, December 2021. I'll be facilitating. Olivia's going to take some notes. And we'll start with intentions and distractions. My intention is to facilitate. My distraction is screen fatigue. And I will pass it to Zap.
Thank you, Mitch. Yeah, my intention is just seeing with you, check how this call keeps evolving. I was not a quantifier this time, but yeah, I'm very excited to just hang around in here and see how it evolves. I'll pass it to Livia. No distractions.
Did you pass to me?
Yeah.
My intention is to continue learning from everyone's experiences with quants. And my distraction, same screen fatigue. End of the day, I just ate a whole bar of chocolate, not feeling so good. I'll pass to Jiwei.
Intention to figure out what can be improved for RAD dashboard analysis. Distraction, meeting fatigue. Thanks everyone being so honest.
Yeah. You want to pass it?
Yeah, Duncan?
Thanks. Yeah, also catching up, taking a look at the quant. And it's the end of the day for me too. So, yeah. I pass it. I think everybody went. No, Bear. I pass it to Bear.
Hey, Nugget, your mic has been very quiet for the last week or so.
Really?
Just letting
I
you
can
know
hear
in
him
case-
fine.
Really?
Is your
I
volume?
hear him very quiet too. I mean, I'm not with my headset, but yeah.
I turned him up.
I turned him up to 200% and still feels quiet in relation to everyone else. But maybe it's just a Discord thing. Sorry.
I don't know. It's a cheap webcam. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But thanks for the heads up. I'll look into it.
Cool. All right, get rid of that. Let's get started from the top. I think, let's see who is here. I think most of us were quantifiers with the exception of Zep. So we'll just start from the top and ask how comfortable did you feel with your quantification? I could say mine was a breeze. I feel like we've figured out most of the weird corner issues. And for me, it went really smooth. I will pass it to Livia if you want to go.
Yeah, I wasn't so happy about quantifying this time. I think I was I pushed it to the end kind of unconsciously. And then I ended up doing last night, pretty late here, 12. And I got through it. But then the good point is that I figured it was really easy to do it, even being tired. And even setting up through the duplicates, and it feels like there's a system that it's already in place in my mind, and that feels good. And I'll pass to Nugget.
Yeah, this week was also pretty comfortable for me. Like I think I got the hang of it, and you just put on some music, and it goes pretty fast. Yeah, the only thing that I noticed that maybe I would like to bring up, but I don't know if there's a solution for that, is that when you go through different people and the same praise pops up, like somebody who praised 3 people for the same thing, I always get like very anxious if I don't remember, like, okay, am I giving this person more and this person less, and it's not easy to check that. And maybe for the future, since the praise ID is probably the same, there could be a way to highlight, at least link back to where you already quantified that, so you kind of remember what score you gave there. And yeah, and duplicates are a pain in the ass, but yeah, that's nothing new. And I'll pass to Zepti.
I mean, I didn't quantify it, but yeah, like the last time I did it, like again, like I feel like it's pretty smooth. And the more you do it, actually, like I was quantified for a couple of rounds in a row. So every time, no, the more you do it, like the more familiar you are with the Fibonacci sequence. So yeah, that's good. I'll pass it back to you, Mitch.
Yeah, actually, Bear 100. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is my second time quantifying, and compared to last time, it's definitely easier. And also, there's much less duplicate because I'm assigned a lot of people with a smaller number of praise. And same thing as if it's the same praise across different people, I hope I can remember, but sometimes I don't. And I'm still struggling to evaluate things like super emotional, you make my life better, that kind of thing. I want to give it a pretty high score. Yeah, I don't know if there's any consensus.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, maybe to help with both your questions, because Bear 100, you're saying you can't remember how you did it last time because you like missed a round, and same thing, Ziwa, like you're saying, trying to figure out what other people did. I've shared in the quantifier support channel. I pinned a folder that has all of the data from all the rounds, and so you can actually go in and see how yourself or other people quantified from previous rounds. And so like if you're thinking like, okay, what did everyone do for like this stuff about like high vibes and like emotional support and stuff like that, like all of it is there. So if you're curious, you can go in and you can look at it. I don't know if that's helpful at all. Yeah. 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 And you could look back and look at how you did things exclusively as well. Cool. Great. We'll go to the duplicate questions. I mean, I know we kind of have the same thing going on here. Duplicates are a bit difficult, but if anyone has any insights they want to share, I'll leave it open. I found, because people kind of want like a keyword search, you can have the mark duplicate modal open, and you can also like Control F while you're on the page, and you can do like a keyword search that way actually. That's a little hack I found until we actually have something more legit. Does anyone have any feedback for duplicates?
I thought it was a little bit difficult to identify some duplicates. Like, were they really duplicates, or did they deserve different scores? Like, sometimes the wording of one praise to another really could change all the meaning of it, but it feels like an easy route for overthinking.
Get me out of there. No way. Yeah. No, I hear you. They're like worded so differently and they're trying to capture this other subjective point of view, but it's kind of the same thing. I noticed that a lot.
Yeah, I think maybe for the future, if we raised the percentage we count again, so it's not just 10%, but if we do it like 60% or something, then the difference between counting it as a duplicate or as a new praise isn't that high. And since at the end of the day it's going to be proportional to the total, I think it wouldn't make that much of a difference in the yeah, in the grand scheme of things. Maybe something like that. I think, yeah, because if it's too close, you're kind of risking to make it like very very little, and another quantifier thinks slightly differently, and suddenly it's a lot more points on their side. And maybe to even that out, just count it for a high percentage could be a solution. Just came to my mind right now.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how the results would change. Like if you're saying you're talking about changing it from 10% to 60.
Yeah, something like that. So because I don't know, in my case, I think a lot of times I maybe don't mark it as a duplicate if I think it's different enough. So I'm giving those points anyway. So maybe if people who choose to mark it as a duplicate count a bit more, maybe that's a possible solution. We should definitely look into it and run it a couple of times and see how the results change. But maybe it's something to look into.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how the results change. That'd be really cool.
So how would you evaluate, like you can do all this simulation to the historical quantification and see how the result change, but then like what is good or what is better? How would you think about that? Like does it make it more equal or less
Mm-hmm. The
difference
people
between?
who are, like, for example, I noticed Sam and Pablo, who were doing the smart contract stuff, got very few praise, but the praise that they got was extremely valuable. And so people who show up in a lot of places and get lots of duplicate praise because it's like they're doing a high visibility action would have much higher overall scores than the people who are getting praised less but with higher quality praise or like higher impact praise. So I wonder how that would affect it. Because,
Yeah, that's
go ahead.
so I understand we are saying the slow percentage of duplicate is to avoid that kind of difference, right? So you are gonna be evaluating people doing high visibility work versus less visible but high impact.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed is like they didn't get praised a lot, but when they did get praised, it was like very important stuff. And um, like I just wonder if like people who are praised more often by many different people will have a much higher score from upping these duplicate values versus people who are praised very little or aren't acknowledged very much, but contribute high valuable work.
Yeah. On the other hand, there's a risk, which I don't know that's the case, but it could be also that people who get highly specific praise, like if somebody praises, for example, Sam for making the bonding curve contract, if that shows up in quantification several times, it's in my opinion, very probable that it's going to be marked as duplicate, and maybe stuff that is less specific, like I don't know, stuff the graviton training, for example. Maybe so work stuff like that maybe a bit differently, and then it falls through and gets counted as several praises, even if it's referring to the same. And stuff that's more specific gets counted as duplicate, and maybe also that could an effect of that. So definitely something to look into.
I'd say let's run it, and we can look at it over the course of this next week. See what it changes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Cool. Okay. Let's move on here. Were you able to find enough context to adequately quantify your praise? Yes. The pseudonym, turning the pseudonyms off was actually been super helpful because then I get really great context because I know at least how much work that person put into this specific piece of praise, and so that specific change helped me out a lot. And I'll pass it to Bear 100.
For me, in that I thought I had the context to give the right values, but then that made me I got some that were very specific to work streams that I was a part of, and I felt lucky to receive them. And I was thinking, what if this person was quantified by someone else that didn't have the same awareness I did? Would this praise be descriptive enough to give them like a good perspective to give value to this? And then it made me think that it's kind of like a luck game.
Luck game over like who is picked to quantify praise that you received.
Yeah.
We also have a exceptional struggle because we're doing stuff so far in the past, you know? So it's like it depends on like who was really around when that stuff was happening. I'll pass it to Nuggin.
Yeah, no, for me it was the same. I think it was great to have the names because it helped me give the necessary context to like value it as I think. But yeah, because I was there and I know who did what. I think people that maybe arrived later don't. But yeah, that's how it is. And Zepti.
Go ahead. I know you weren't there, Zep, but if you feel like saying anything. Actually, maybe Ziwei, if you want to go. I know you were quantifying.
Yeah, so I know none of the context. I was not in TEC for that time. And for things super simple, like the simplest one was like for TS. I went to the glossary and see TS as trusted seed, but then what does that mean for this? So again, it's the etiquette for praise.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I was like, what?
I dismissed them all. I did.
Okay, really.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a bug in the system. It was a 4TS. So I was like, what? Cool. What do we got next? Yeah, this is probably the last time I'll ask this, but was having real names, not pseudonyms, easier or more enjoyable to quantify? I'll say simply yes. I think I said it already, but yeah, definitely. I'll pass it to Nuggin.
Hard yes. I'll pass to Livia.
Yeah. Yeah. Jiwei.
No information. You can skip me.
Okay. Bear 100. Nice. That sounds like a very, very resounding yes. Now here, how can we improve praise etiquette? This is a good question. And I actually am hoping to update the quantifier onboarding post, maybe with some examples of like bad praise or like weird praise and like kind of some consensus of how we dealt with it, just to give people some more reference that can't join the calls. And so how can we improve praise etiquette? What do you think needs to happen? I think definitely making it impossible to praise multiple things in one command or one message will help us improve. And encouraging people to be as descriptive as possible. Livia had a great point of like when we're typing praise, we often type it the way that it was said, but that's not really a great practice because when we're saying praise, often we feel rushed, so we don't give a lot of details. But when we write praise, we're not limited by time, so like we should encourage people to have more details in their praise. And I'll pass it to Zep if you have any thoughts.
I mean, I didn't experience like this new update on the I don't know, like from what I hear, like I feel like you changed stuff on the duplicates and stuff, but I didn't saw those changes. But regarding like the praise, I feel like at some point we were talking about like giving emojis, and I think like this would help like so much to quantifiers and also to praise, and also like what Levi was talking all the time about, like having different tiers or types of praise. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add.
I'm muted, that's awesome. I'll pass it to Livy.
Yeah, I was missing that question of like, is there a particular praise that caught your attention? Because I had one today. There was one Juanca dished to infinite people, and then that became more and more funny as I would like pass people and see that that praise was was being quantified for everyone. So maybe that would be a good etiquette. Like maybe we could have like a comment in the bot that if you praise more than 3 people for the same thing, is like, are you sure you want to praise all of those people for the same thing? Do you want to be more specific? Because I just started giving like less and less value as it went by. So I'll pass to Jiwei.
Yeah, good point, Livy. I was trying to be fair and not discounted by their order in my hand, but still, yeah. I just hope there would be a description of what's the action of that person, in addition to what's the impact on the sender. Because a lot of time it's just I'm so grateful for you, that kind of. It's good to express myself, but I didn't know what is the thing exactly has been done. And also, I just feel psychologically for me to see other people praise me, if they actually point out what I did and that make them happy, I'll be happier too.
Super interesting. We could pass it to Nuggin.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Jiwei. I think that's a really good point. Because I was going to say also it would help if praise was more specific, but I think that's the point. If we tell people to focus a bit more on what they did to make us feel that way, I think it doesn't break the spirit of praise and still helps a lot with quantifying. So, yeah.
Like we can even make that part of the bot function, is to say I praise this person for doing something, and then that made me feel like splitting it into 2 parts of the reason to force people to focus on that.
It's a really interesting point. I'm just gonna I'm watching Livia catch up there. I'll pass it to Bear 100. Yeah. And I just want to capture a couple things that we saw, that I saw. Bad praise etiquette. So I hear that people praising an emotional response without indicating the action that created it. One thing I noticed was the Quant before last one was people praising multiple things and people in one message. That's super frustrating. I'm like, what do I do? Or praising the same person for multiple actions in one message. And my ideal is I could capture these into like a concrete example. I haven't added it to the document yet, so that's why probably you can't find it, Zep, but I'd like to capture concrete examples of this and without names and put them into the doc. And I don't know if there's anything else anyone saw of concrete examples of bad praise etiquette.
I think that wouldn't happen with the new bot anymore, but Nick had a few praises that were like, I praise this person for this, and I praise this person for something else, like all in the same command. And then you could see the dish praise command in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, you're right. I don't think
Okay.
it's possible anymore, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the new bot kills that, luckily.
don't worry, someone will find a way to break it. Don't you worry. Cool. Anything else you guys saw for bad praise etiquette? if you find anything, please add it in here. If you remember something, add it in here so we can capture it.
I also want to mention good praise etiquette. That is, I saw a few praises that were very descriptive, and I thought in the beginning that that would make me annoyed, like, oh, it's so big for me to read. But it didn't. It was very helpful actually to have like 3 lines explaining what is the praise, because the process of giving the value became much more seamless and easier, even if it was a second more to read the praise.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you on that. Anything to add? Good praise etiquette, bad praise etiquette? Otherwise, we'll jump into the data. Cool. All right. So this is the sheet here. This is just the whole data here. And I'll spare looking at this mess, and we can jump right into the outliers data. And you can see there's still some big spreads here. And I was looking at this a little bit before the call, and a lot of this was stuff that was dished for param parties, for debates, for testing smart contracts, commons upgrade, a lot of stuff like that. Oh, winning a Herdal scholarship. Nice. And I think this was a big difference between people having context and people not having context, you know? I'll zoom this out here. And I'm wondering if there's anything else anyone had a chance to look at or noticed in some of the spread between these scores.
I found interesting the one at row 12, I think, where 2 people dismissed it, and the ones who didn't gave it a pretty high score. That should be something that we can maybe look into.
2 people dismissed it, and then 1 person gave it a high score.
Yeah, just there, line 12.
Line 12. Line 12. Line 12, nobody.
True, false, true,
Oh,
false.
yeah. Interesting.
Oh, that's a good one. So that was probably a collective praise, because that is praising Mount Manu, right? For crashing through finalizing the dashboard. So Mount Manu didn't have nothing to do with the buildup of the dashboard, and then people who
No.
knew that
He gave it.
dismissed.
It was from Mount Manu to Fabio.
Oh, okay.
So
Thought it
it
was the opposite. Sorry.
makes sense.
Oh, I did.
I dismissed it.
You dismissed it.
Mm.
What do you think? What do you remember this one?
It could be a duplicate. Like one man, you say the same thing to the same person twice.
Interesting. See if it's sorted.
What could be also is that there was a lot of praise that probably in the community call, people who were saying it out loud also typed it in the praise chat, and then Mount Manu came after and then retyped it. So there was the exact same praise coming from Mount Manu and another person. I dismissed a few of those.
But if that's the case, I would mark it as a duplicate, not as a dismiss.
Even if
Which
the
is the
wording
problem.
was exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the keyword, which is crushing, we can see that it only happened 3 times, and it was once for Fabio, Vitor, and Pedro. There's no other crushing done in this quant. Interesting. And there's who was the other person here? True. NT. Oh, I wonder why they dismissed that.
See, so that's the fourth one from one menu to.
Well, it was. This is the outlier sheet.
Okay.
So in this one here, we only have 3 instances, and it was to different people every time.
Yeah, that's. Oh, sorry, no, I didn't want to say anything.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
It says you dismissed it, Nuggin. Do you remember why?
No, I didn't dismiss it.
No, Nuggin didn't. It's false. So it's true for Z-Way and true for NT. True is they did dismiss it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Did we ever make any sort of filter for this stuff? Like we were saying, if like the majority dismisses it or doesn't dismiss it, and then somebody does.
Yeah, actually ask Christopher if they did anything like that. On the analysis side, we don't, and I think no, because if you look at exactly that, if you go to the score, to this praise where we are right now, so it's 34 and 89, and if you go to the right, to the score, I think it's getting a score of 61. Yeah, 61. So it's basically taking the 2 scores we gave it and dividing it by 2 and rounding down. So it's just counting it as if we didn't, as if the person also, as if the quantifier didn't show up. Basically, it's the same. It's not counting it for the average. So.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, I asked Christopher if that's how it's supposed to be, or.
Because if they dismissed it, normally that would be counted as a 0. They're saying this praise does not have value.
Yeah.
And instead we're just omitting it entirely. So we're taking a smaller average.
Yes, I think maybe it's a bug. That's why I ask, because.
Yeah, that does seem weird. See if we have anything else like that down here. Not really. Oh, there's another one. The spread means the difference between the highest quantification and the lowest quantification. Yeah. So you can see like these top ones, 144. And this is actually misleading because this score of 0 was actually a duplicate. So we don't know what this duplicate was, so maybe the score was actually something higher that it was being marked as a duplicate of, but because we have a 0 here and 144, the spread shows up as the full range.
It was, if it got duplicated to 0, it was 8 tops. Because it took the %, yeah. So, still high there.
Cool. Interesting. And then another one here. That was, Z-Way and Nuggin. Oh yeah, this is engaging in the forum. Griffin Algene again, up to no good. Not reading stuff. Yeah, again, engaging in the forum. Innovator. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, it looks like some people don't quite get it.
Okay. Mitch, we have a new table just collecting all the disagreements in dismissal. So.
In the dashboard.
Yeah, it's another table output. I don't know if I.
It's not in yours.
Yeah.
It's on the other branch.
Okay. Yeah, I can share screen if we want to still work on that.
I think we spent enough time looking at this. Let's look at the dashboard.
Just bring this to your attention.
Is the score given by each person? Like, for example, if I marked something duplicate, will it appear in a different way or in the score?
The score, it doesn't appear on here. When you mark it as a duplicate, it shows up as a 0 on this spreadsheet. But in the actual calculation, it's being marked as 10% of the value of the original praise.
Okay.
And so that's something we were talking about. Like, we could try changing the percent and then running a simulation to see like how everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird here that there's something, it says I marked 8, 4, and I remember giving 144 for this. That is one praise for Sam. But could this mean that it's just 10% or something? Or maybe I gave 89 and it counted just 10%?
Interesting. You found it. Do you want to comment on it?
It's Route 4. Yeah.
You
Okay.
should have comment access. Whenever you're ready, G-Way, you can start sharing.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I need to share my whole screen. Well, we can walk through the graphs of an overview, and then we can go into the ones about the disagreements on duplicate and dismissals. Can you all see the graph of the rating distribution?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the distribution we got. And still looks pretty good. People giving 5, and followed by 3 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And in total, there's maybe 10 of the top scores. And here's the reward reception. Mitch, you win again. With the praise and also being quantifier reward. The two adds up. Followed by Chewy with praise and the reward board. Zep and grief. So yeah. Who's this? There's a missing username that has a reward board reward. I'm not sure who that is.
That's just that the reward board isn't linked to the Discord usernames. So once the input file does that, it will integrate with the rest.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
it's for the case where the reward board has a different address than the praise address. Sorry, that's what I wanted to say.
Maybe that's something we could just ratify in the it'll be in the CSV file that we just added.
Yeah, probably need to edit the reward board file to make it the same thing as the praise file.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing would be to add the reward board file, probably.
Cool. All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then here's the overview of people giving reward and receiving reward.
Mm-hmm.
This big chunk of the rest are people outside of the top 15 receivers. So of course you see everyone have a very thick trend going to the rest, but then others are to real users. Like Quant is a big supporter for Sam.
Interesting. That's super cool.
Yeah, and of course, Menu is the biggest giver because he was recording all the video.
Yeah.
Praise
And we'll have
record.
this different now that we have the forward command on the praise bar.
Yeah. Is that already in use now?
Should be.
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So the others are top 15 givers on the left side and top 15 receivers on the right side.
Hmm.
Okay. And here are outliers, and again we see some big spread of 115, 14. But that's better looked at by the table that Mitch just shared. And here is the look at the quantifier. So a few of VIV, Mitch, Griff, TTC use the full range of the scoreboard, and most other people don't. But on average, each square is the 25% to 70% percentile. So like the majority of your rating, and people are. I wouldn't say there's a big discrepancy between people.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other interpretation people want to look at this? Or maybe that could be some kind of a reminder for certain quantifiers to use bigger range.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people who didn't really go past 54.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, max 34, max 55. Max 34, max 55.
Am I missing from that table? Am I seeing that right?
I don't think everyone's on there, honestly. There should be 20 people on there.
Okay.
We have to look into that.
Right. I gotta look into that. Okay. So agreement on duplication, there's 13% of the praise that people don't agree on if it is a duplication or not. And here is a table of the praise that people don't agree on duplication. So you can just go to the last part. Yeah.
And so this was you're able to like create clusters of duplicates, essentially?
Yes. So like here, this person think it's it is not a duplicate. This person think it's a duplicate of this message. This person think it's not a duplicate. And here's this message of this praise. Let's compare these two maybe. Let me make it bigger. Yeah. Okay, so like let's say this this person think it's a duplicate of the message for recording all the calls, and the original message is for recording and uploading all the calls behind the scene. And some people think it's not, it's different than this one, and some people think it's the same.
That's cool. This is exportable from the...
Yeah, after you run the main script. It still have some bug. But it's only including 3 quantifiers because the test data was only 3 quantifiers. But now we're gonna stick to 4 quantifiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I need to fix that. But yeah, so here you can see as being a spot on lead for reward system work group, consistent, blah blah. And this is the original message for awesome working session this AM. So
Cool.
I guess there's people with the context know that these are the same thing, but other people like for me to just read this too, I wouldn't say it's duplicate.
Yeah, really super interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I
show
think
us.
next up, yeah.
Go ahead. Show us.
Okay. One more thing to show is for dismiss, there's 5% people that don't agree with do we dismiss something or not. So that's better than duplicate. So people have more agreement on dismissal than duplicate. And here's a table of all the. Here we have a column of are people agree on the dismissal. So starting with all this of not agreed dismissals. I haven't figured out a good way how to look at this data. So not right now, we can only look at it one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of it. So apparently a lot is the forum thing.
Yeah.
And then for TS. And,
It's very controversial.
yeah. Mentioning or retweeting, is there a policy for that?
Yes,
That's
there is, right? So I think it's clear education case that we have to make clear to everybody that they please dismiss all the forum stuff.
yeah. It's there, but it's just something that has to be repeated, I think, a few more times.
Or can we just, when providing the trace data, just delete those ones? It's all formatted the same way. It's pretty easy to just delete those ones.
I think they should be deleted. I wonder what other people would think.
Well, the thing was that we would quantify them until we had source cred capturing that. But then now it feels like
SourceCred will be able to retroactively see these things. Unlike meeting attendance. Meeting attendance, we won't be able to.
yeah, but for my understanding, that was still in the open of when we would stop quantifying meeting it the forum stuff. So if we're not already, I agree that we could just delete them from the quant pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also agree that we can just delete it.
Yeah. The forum is clear. Twitter is not clear.
Right.
Cool. Well, I'll make a soft poll in the channel. In the reward system channel, and then we'll remove them.
Yeah. And then there are things that are apparently unclear what it means, just for it. These are something else for message to edu.
Mm-hmm. So people
So
weren't.
here's the.
Go ahead.
It's hard to. There are two kinds of dismiss. One is the message itself is wrong, or just incomplete. The other is because it's a duplicate of the same person doing the same thing, praising the same thing twice. So right now we cannot really automatically distinguish these two cases. But if you can mark duplicate for the same person giving same message, and that's like a different kind of duplicate. If people can mark that, then we can easily identify these two scenarios.
Cool. We're almost at the top of the hour, so I would like to export these things when they're done and add them to our folder so people can look at this anytime they want. And thank you both very much. Thank you, Ziwei, for presenting that, and Nugget and both of you for the work that you've done on the RAD dashboard. We don't have a lot of time, so I just want to know if anyone has any closing thoughts that they want to add from the review session, or some points that they want to make sure are captured here.
I would love like if these review sessions like maybe not now, but evolving at something like okay, this is the analysis, this is conclusions, and maybe a forum post with conclusions or something like so the community is aware like what's going on and what are the next things to implement and yeah, like just awareness and transparency.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. So, what's the goal of doing this review? One big part is education for both people giving praise ethics, and also for quantifiers. So we should like crystallize some lessons for that. And then another goal is for improvement of the praise system and the RAD dashboard. That could be just in the forms of like meeting notes and delivered to people who working on that.
Yeah, and also just providing a feedback loop to the community about how contributions are being seen, what are some patterns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are really great points. And I would love if someone had the bandwidth to do all those things. Because we got the notes here at least. We have it all written down somewhere, but man,
Exactly.
synthesizing. Go ahead, Olivia. Yeah, does anybody?
I was just agreeing, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Any other last minute thoughts while we're at the top of the hour? If you think of anything else, this document should be editable by anybody. So go ahead and drop some comments in there. Livia's been doing a great job of highlighting some key things that we can pass on to development for issues. And yeah, go ahead, review the data in there, and leave some more comments if you have any. And if there's nothing else, thank you all for coming.
Thanks, Mitch, for facilitating, and thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch.
Thanks
Livy.
everyone.
Guys.
Thanks, Livy, for taking notes.
Thanks, Mitch.
Bye.